What's up? What's up? Real MVPs, Ricky Widmer here, along with my beautiful co-host, Dave Oster.
Hey, everybody. And
we are back for another edition of MVP Sports Live right here on twitch.tv, or you're watching us on YouTube. If you looked at the number of topics, Dave, you might be like, wow, it's a light show today, but we got two topics that'll probably be bangers.
We're probably argue for a while.
You think we'll argue about them?
Well,
I don't know if we'll argue, but I just know there'll be longer conversations that aren't going to be like 8 minutes. And then,
if we got Bears football tonight, though, that's all I'm really looking forward to.
Bears. Mike Evans playing. Fournette's playing. So,
Evans got cleared?
Evans and Fournette got cleared.
Miller, I knew was going to run.
No, Leonard Fournette and Evans got cleared. So,
should I put Fournette in? No. Wait,
maybe.
I should probably.
Maybe. I'm leaving Evans in. I'm leaving. Yeah, Shefty said, here, let me see if I got the tweet here still.
I'll check fantasy real quick.
Yeah, Shefty said they're both active. So I was like, fuck, I'll leave Evans in then for tonight. But while Dave checks to see if he's going to put in Leonard Fournette, let me go through the housekeeping really quick. Yep. Number one, join the Discord. Link down below in the description. Make sure to join it today. It is a great, great community where we're talking everything in sports. It's kind of like a little hangout for the entire MVP family. You can also join it by doing !Discord into Twitch chat in order to get that link to join it. If you want to support us, check out patreon.com/MVPvids. That is the main way you can support us. Bronze, silver, gold, and platinum. Thank you to our Patreon sponsors, Pat Hill and Philly Sean. And then last but not least, we're on Twitch every Monday through Friday. Twitch.tv/MVPvids. But we're also on YouTube at MVP Sports as well. So go follow, like, subscribe, both places. But Dave, let's jump into the real news. Let's jump into what we're talking about today. And
the real news.
The real news. Not that fakey news that people are talking about. It's, Dave, it's not the fake news. Fake news. You got to do the hands that he does, like the spread out hands, and it's very rigid, and like usually it's lower, but I'm sitting down. But Dave, we're talking basketball, and we're taking a look at the 76ers, and there are some rumors floating around about a possible Ben Simmons trade going on. A lot of people have been wondering about Joel or Ben. Which one could they move on from? We've been talking about it for years, but it's really coming to a head because of a tweet that I saw about a week or two ago, where it was right after Doc was signed. And the tweet was basically wrapped around, could Doc be willing to trade Ben Simmons for the number 1 overall pick in order to get his guy, because the T-Wolves are all like, we might trade the pick because we're afraid of fucking up. There's also articles where the Warriors would be a good fit. You've got articles about, they should trade him to the Suns. Bleacher Report has a great blockbuster trade, Dave, of trading Ben Simmons for Devin Booker that I'm sure a lot of people would love. But for you, should the 76ers be looking to shop Ben Simmons this offseason?
The answer is always yes. You can always shop, but that doesn't mean you have to push the button, you know?
Yeah.
I think that's one situation where, as a good GM, you have to always be willing to listen to offers on anyone on your team. I don't care if it's LeBron James. I don't care if it's Anthony Davis, Kevin Durant. It doesn't fucking matter. You have to listen. Yeah. You can't just say, like, I refuse to, like, whatever. Like, part of your job as a GM is to evaluate all the situation. If you're not doing that, you're not doing your job. Again, as a Bears fan, I can give you the GMs who only do half a job. As a Bulls fan, GMs who barely did a job. Like, I have a good bit of experience talking on this matter, so I'm glad that question came my way, Ricky. But I do wonder which is the odd man out. I think we've kind of pinned on that a lot of like, okay, I'll listen to offers for Ben Simmons. But is Ben Simmons or is Joel Embiid the more valuable piece to us? And which is more valuable piece on the open market? Now, we talk about Joel Embiid being the second best center in the NBA right now, behind Nikola Jokic. And I don't know where to go with that, because while he is at his peak, the second best center in the NBA, he's also a guy who's been inconsistent, who's been unhealthy. and who seemingly hasn't grown his game offensively to a level that we all thought he could get to already. Maybe it's just our expectations were so high after seeing him come out in his first playing year and look like a dominant monster.
Yeah.
And it just seems like he hasn't really taken that next step from there, which, to be fair, that next step is like superstar, like, whatever mode. So I understand. But Ben Simmons is the conundrum of like, okay, got a point guard who is 7 feet tall, who has the handles.
And you can't teach that. When you said
sorry, I missed that opportunity. That was,
yeah, and you can't teach that.
But yeah, 7-footer, handles, incredible defense, like all NBA defense. But he has a fatal flaw in the fact that he can't shoot, or he refuses to shoot, or there's some sort of mental whatever behind him not taking shots outside of 12 feet. Even that 12 to 7 range, 12 to 5 range, kind of sketchy sometimes for him. So
yeah,
both of these players are flawed, and they both have their drawbacks. As Doc Rivers, or I'm sorry, I believe he's going by Glenn Rivers now,
really?
in Philly out of respect. Yeah, I swear. Okay. Saw a thing on that. I don't know if they're just memeing me, but I'll follow through.
Now I gotta look it up. I gotta look it up.
Yeah, definitely look it up. Is Doc going by Glenn in Philadelphia? I wonder if he wants to see these guys play first. Like, as a head coach, to have one of the two staples of the team moved off before you even get a single practice in, that seems like a bit much. And maybe, I mean, again, this was a very quick turn from him to be, hey, I'm coaching the Clippers in the Eastern Conference playoffs, to I'm now the head coach of the Sixers. I've got to figure out what this roster is going to be. He's only had 2 weeks. I mean, that is, you got to really come quick. And I know Doc's an incredibly smart guy. He's not dumb when it comes to like, what are those rosters doing?
Dave, you're right.
Oh.
He said to this is Mark. Right. It was Mark Zumoff of NBC Sports Philadelphia. Call me Glenn, because I agree. There's only one Doc in Philly.
There you go.
So out of respect of Julius Erving, Dr. J, it's no longer Doc Rivers. It's Glenn Rivers, Dave. Glenn Rivers. That's the guy. That's the head coach for the Sixers. Glenn Rivers.
So yeah, I'm just in that position where I don't know if he would be okay with moving on from one of those two core team staples without even like being around them, Or is it better that he hasn't been and he just like, hey, I trust your judgment. I think Elton Brand is, got some sort of plan, and I'm sure he would be consulted on any deals done.
Yeah.
But people aren't dumb. They're like, well, Chris Paul's out there. Doc Rivers, Chris Paul seem to do good. Imagine that, but with more talent. And, maybe that would be worth bringing back, or maybe we could go get another star who maybe has spacing for our team, because we currently, we don't do a good job on that with Ben Simmons out there. But I mean, at the end of the day, like, what do you think that, I guess, which guy would you go? Because I know right now it's just Ben Simmons trade, but I genuinely want to know, like, is it just because Ben Simmons is more attractive on the market?
I mean,
or
I think Ben Simmons can get you more. And what I mean by more, whereas Joel Embiid will always have the caveat of the injuries, to where it's like teams might not want to give up that, like, and I'm not saying like a Chris Paul, because Chris Paul's like, he's old enough to where it's like, well, he's not in the long-term plans. But like, for example, a trade that I'm working on right now, because yet again, it's people talking, but it's like, I like that idea. Let me run with it.
Absolutely.
Is the Trailblazers, where this is where I'm at right now, Dave. Very preliminary. CJ for Ben, a deal wrapped around that. But it's like, if you were going to put, let's say, Embiid in that situation, not saying the Blazers need Embiid, just for shits and giggles. If it's like, I want like CJ McCollum for an Embiid situation, would a team be like, whoa, I'm not going to give up somebody who's young that doesn't have the same type of injury history? I know CJ has the back, so maybe this is a bad example.
CJ's back is broken, and they have Yusuf Nurkic.
But like, there's other situations. Like, for example, Devin Booker in that Bleacher Report article, they said, why would the Suns do that for Joel Embiid because of the injuries? Like, who's going to want to trade for somebody that's chronically injured when they would much rather maybe have somebody who can help them with passing, who can help them with scoring. Really, the only thing he needs to work on is shoot a damn three every once in a while. Like, that's my main criticism.
No. That's
his main criticism.
I would say his second one is his passive gameplay on the court. I think him not being a dominant scorer, like, you know how LeBron James came into the NBA and was like, I want to get guys involved, and I might not take the last shot early in his career, but he would throw down 30-plus a night when he needed to. Yeah. Ben Simmons hasn't been that guy in his career.
To where it almost makes you wonder, does he have that it factor? That's what I think. It's like, it's one of those, like... It's just it. Like, it's the thing that you cannot teach someone. You cannot teach a player that, like, I don't want to say alpha dog, but that, like, that killer instinct.
There should be, well, okay, so there's the Mamba mentality thing.
Well, not kind of along those lines.
It totally is. It's the I'm the better player. I'm going to take the shots. It's the fuck you, Luke Walton, open in the corner. I'm going to take my own shot. Okay?
Like what LeBron does now, when it's like, okay, I've been trying to get my team involved, but we're down by 5, and the clock ain't getting any. Like, the clock's only getting less. I'm turning it on.
It's that ability to say, I've got confidence in myself, and I know I can do it. I think with Ben, it's just like you have to have a coach who can force him to be aggressive and attack the basket, and draw plays for him to do that. Like, I think that is the big thing. A lot of the offensive play calling under Brett Brown, the sets they had, I mean, you go back 2 years and we saw the J.J. Redick high pick and pops off the screens, the pick and roll play, like, and that 2-man game going with Embiid out there, and highly successful. But, like, he really only had like 3 plays. He had the plays centered around J.J. Redick. He had the plays centered around Embiid in the mid post. And then you end up with like a weird look for like Jimmy to just go ISO 1v5 out there. You know?
Or then you get the great quote from Jimmy against Chicago when they got the redo. Let's call it better fucking play.
Exactly. So, I mean, it just, I want to chalk up a good portion of that to coaching. I don't want to say that like Ben Simmons doesn't have it. Maybe he has it, but it's buried in there. And it's just like his whole time, he's just meant in his own head saying like, I've got to be the better teammate. I've got to be the better passer. I got to make sure my team gets better. Like, having somebody like that's good, but he needs to understand that he is so fucking talented that he gives the team the best opportunity to win when he can go and attack the basket. And that's the problem, is he gets in his own way.
The only reason, like, you're right, it could be something of just he's got it. There's just nobody has unlocked it. But at the same time,
we've seen it for, like, I can honestly count out a handful of my times, like Ben Simmons taking over a game. Like, it's 4 times, I think.
Like,
so, and I'm sure, like, I know we've got a couple Philly fans who could confirm this, but like, it really does feel like it's just like there needs to be like a sink or swim moment for him. You know how like when you're teaching kids to swim, like I was a lifeguard and I was a swim coach. Sometimes you just got to push them in the deep end. Yeah. And like, look, you know everything. There's no me talking to you no longer. I can't teach you anything else about this. You are prepared as prepared can get. You just have to go do. And I think that's all it is at this point. Is that's why I'm hesitant to engage in any of these trade talks. But I do agree with you, going back to the original point of Embiid's value outside is less than what he brings to the table to the Sixers team. So they wouldn't get a great return on it. That's why Ben's name seems to be shopped more. Is because the whole league would love to have someone with his
passing ability and his ability,
incredible top defense. Like that skill set on its own is it shades of young Rondo, you know?
Retro brings up some good points in Twitch chat. He says, I agree. They should give it time. Doc makes his bigs better. I think Embiid will probs have the best season of his career under him. It's a good point. Like, we don't know what Embiid or Ben Simmons are going to look like under Doc Rivers. Like, I feel like the answer with the Sixers is something needs to change from last year. Is just changing the coach enough? I don't think so. The main things you want to change, though, Tobias Harris, Al Horford, nobody wants them. So at this point, or like, it would have to be something to where it's like, well, we're trading Al Horford to the Celtics again, and we're getting picks. That ain't going to happen. He ain't getting traded back to Boston. But it's not going to be a deal that nets you anything.
Right, no, they're paying to move him. Like that's at the end of the day. I think the fatal flaw with the Sixers in the playoffs this year was a lack of a secondary ball handler. Yeah. Jay Richardson is not that guy. I screamed from the rooftops as soon as they made the trade for Jimmy Butler. Like, yeah, but look at his stats down in Miami. He was able to get more than a handful of assists a game down there in some games. He can definitely take. No, he can't. He was in the right system, and he got the benefit of a lot of guys around him. Well, they need to make a secondary playmaker on that team, and they don't have it right now. They have the opportunity to draft some guys who might be able to do that and step into that position. I think they've done a decent job with some development. They got one guy coming up, and then we'll see what happens to Zaire. He's not really a ball handler though, so I think it's still just like they got some holes to address. You're right. Moving Ben Simmons right now seems like a horrible move though, unless you get a hell of a haul for him.
The thing the Sixers need is the one thing they let walk away, and it's like
Jimmy
to go Colin Cowherd on it. They had the perfect girl. The perfect girl was like, hey, I want to stay, but here's what I need to stay. Nope. We don't need you. Bye-bye. And now she's doing great with her new boyfriend. And you're sitting there going, well, shit. I probably should have given her some more time. Like, that's what they are doing right now. Because Jimmy's sitting there at the finals with his new team. Even if he loses the finals, he made the finals. Sixers didn't make the finals.
It's something that nobody had them down for. And by far, people attribute this. They understand, hey, look, the organization is stacked. They have one of the greatest front office guys ever running that front office, Pat Riley. I don't know what his official title is anymore. I just know he is like the Don of the fucking Miami Heat.
He's the guy that makes that team go.
They're a crime organization at this point in my mind. They are a mob. Spoelstra, again, he coached the best of the best for years and didn't get enough credit, and people see it now and like, this guy's just throughout his entire career, genius. Incredible development staff on that group, and then great teammates. But like, it's that Jimmy Butler work ethic shit that you see shine through,
and that's why
it's all the young kids coming out and giving like quotes about Jimmy Butler that like I can't help but to smile, and you can't help but to like the guy.
And that's what like you brought up, like, oh, maybe it's the coach to give Ben Simmons like confidence. What if it's just also effective? And I'm not like harping on this, like this is what it is, but it could be. What if it's just how Ben Simmons is built to where like you look at that young team in Miami, Jimmy's hard on them and they respond positively to it. Like look at a Tyler Hero, where Tyler Hero, a rookie, is performing in the playoffs. Finals have been a little bit less, but when you got LeBron James on you, like that'll cause some problems.
LeBron on you every time, you just get
that'll cause some problems.
Mismatch,
but it's like what we've seen from him, to where it's like, what if it's Ben Simmons needs that play? Like that's why the Blazers trade, kind of like that idea intrigues me, because the Blazers I think might need to shake it up, where it's like Dame and CJ are good, but will they ever work together? I know this year you can say, well, injury, like they played well down the stretch. Injuries happened at the wrong time. CJ with the back, then Dame with the, was it a wrist or an ankle? Basically, he got injured and had to miss games in that first series against the Lakers, and they were playing hot as hell coming into the playoffs. Or is it something where, like, hey, we need to make a change. CJ can help you. Ben Simmons can help us, and Ben Simmons can get that kind of motivation or get that fire under his ass from a guy like Dame. Because Dame would be the same exact way that Jimmy Butler was. Like, he's going to call you out on your shit because Dame wants to win. Yeah,
he's got that passion kind of thing. I love to see it out there. Yeah. I mean, obviously in that trade, the Portland Trail Blazers would have to give up more to get Ben Simmons. I hope it's not Gary Trent Jr. over there. Yeah. Next budding star wing. Ray Simons, who I will hype up until the day I die, even though he is not well. I don't care.
Well, I'll ask you, if that's a deal, besides Ben and CJ, my problem is, would it just be them straight up in picks? would one of the sides have to add a young, like, would an Anthony Simons need to be added? Would a Nasir Little? Would a Zaire Smith? Like, I don't really know value-wise which one, because they're both really good players. It's not like one team is getting like a drastically better player in the deal.
Yes, Ben Simmons is a drastically better player than CJ McCollum.
Okay. Then so it would be the you're saying the Blazers would have to give up more.
Yeah, Portland would have to throw in something. What that value is, Gary Trent Jr. might be that value. It might be Gary Trent plus a pick. Nasir Little right now has no value. He and Zaire Smith basically equal on value. Like, they're both guys who are on like redemption arcs already. They've got to prove it still. They've got nothing on the NBA level. I'm trying to think of any other young guys without big contracts.
Rodney Hood. Rodney Hood's a 1 year that can help you in playoff situations. Like, he's got 1 year left. What?
On a decent sized deal.
$6 million.
Not awful.
I mean, it's small.
But he is coming off of a horrible injury.
Yep. I mean, he's 27. Like, the guys that you're talking about is...
Like, Rodney Hood is probably the better guy than Gary Trent Jr. He's a better player and a better wing. But Gary Trent Jr.'s got that long-term contract potentially. Rodney Hood on a final year. And he's a free agent again, so...
Yeah. So,
and you're stuck on a team, fucking 76ers, where you're fucked by cap. So you can't go spend caps. You have to get guys to longer-term deals.
Yeah, so the 1 year on Rodney Hood is a player option. So he would have to...
take it, probably because he doesn't... I mean, with that injury, like, I don't know who's going to give him $7 million or $6 million.
So, like, I look at it, CJ Rodney Hood in the first maps out, like, the money works there. Where the Trailblazers would be actually, they'd be actually losing about $5 million, and the Sixers would be actually taking on like $5 million just because of Rodney Hood's contract.
It doesn't seem like enough for Ben Simmons, I'll be honest.
Yeah, and that's like with the other teams though that like people have thrown out there. I'll throw out the one that kind of to me has the most credit.
Paul George got how many fucking draft picks? I mean, like 17. They gave up so much to get Paul George to LA. Ben Simmons is not that far behind Paul George in value. Now, I understand that, like,
so what's the deal looking like?
Far ahead of Shea and Gallo. Yeah, like, I get it. But
what's a deal? What's a Paul George for Ben Simmons deal looking like? Like, it's like you said, the Clippers have given if the Clippers need to give up draft picks, they're looking like we don't have any.
Right. That's a problem.
Like Steve Ballmer came in all game of zones, like developing players. Let's make a trade, baby. He don't got no trade. Like, he's got no draft picks. He traded them all. To where it's like, what else would the Clippers have to give up? Because I'm assuming you're thinking that because Ben is younger, that the Clippers would have to give up more in the deal.
Well, I mean, especially if that performance in the fucking playoffs from Pandemic P. I mean, Paul George plus Shamet return plus something like it. Yeah, the problem is, you're right, the contracts suck, and the Clippers don't have enough capital and draft to make it back. And then it turns to the question of, okay, what's the plan with all this draft capital? Did you just acquire it on the 76ers so you could move on from Al Horford? Because you got to give up draft to get out of his deal? Like,
yeah,
I don't know, man. It's a tough position. That's why I'm so anti-trade right now for the 76ers. I think what they need to do is address the draft first. Look at the draft, get a savvy veteran point guard in the draft, a la Trey Jones, Cassius Winston.
Would Tyrell Terry work? Because that's where a lot of mocks have him going.
If he's available, I wouldn't say no. I would not say no.
Dave's like, I like Tyrell. He's my guy.
He is adding strength. He's getting a little size built up to him. He's a great shooter. And he's got a ton of potential. I know he's a younger guy. So, I mean, there's going to be some questions there around timelines, but there's no reason not to take the guy with a higher upside, because this isn't a team that's going to win in the playoffs next year. Because we all see what the Nets are doing.
Yeah.
We see what Miami's doing right now. We see what the Celtics are. The Bucks are still the Bucks at the moment. And the Raptors are still like, those 5 teams haven't fucking moved.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the only thing that gets different is like, oh no, the Orlando Magic have 1 billion injuries.
Mm-hmm.
John Wall will be back next year. Like, these are all toss-up things. We don't know what to actually expect. But those 5 teams at the top are going to be at the fucking top. Like, yes, you as 76ers will be in that group competing, but by no means are you going to be a favorite going through any of this.
Yeah. And, like, the thing that I feel like, and I mentioned it a little while ago with the Jimmy Butler thing, the thing I think the Sixers are missing is that, like, not play, that guy spark plug wise mentality that, like, Damian Lillard, Jimmy Butler, like LeBron has it, MJ had it, like these guys where it's like, I want to win at any cost. I'm going to hold, like, this is the standard we need to be at. I'm going to keep you and hold you to that standard. I'm not going to let you dip below it. To where it's like, they bring the team up to where the team is like, we have to be at that level. And you're not going to get that. I feel like you're not going to get that this offseason through any trade without losing Ben Simmons, because the 76ers to me have 2/3 of the puzzle. They do. Like, Joel Embiid is your guy to where it's like, he's not an exact Rodman fit, but he's like that. He's the guy that's going to get you boards. He's kind of like, to me, I want to say like Joakim Noah to the Bulls, where Joakim was that guy defensively, rebounding. He was also the emotional spark plug of that team.
100%. And
maybe Ben Simmons is more of like the Scottie Pippen, where it's like, hey, I don't have it in me to be, because we've even talked about other guys where it's like, hey, I don't have it in me to be the guy at the, like, I'm fine just stepping back, doing my job, doing that. They need a guy that, like they had in Jimmy Butler, where it's like, I will hold this team accountable. I'm not afraid to do that. That's the role I want to take. It's just who's going to be that thing and where are they going to find it. One last thing I want to ask you, though, before we move on. What about the one about the fucking Warriors? Could the Warriors reach out and go, here's the number 2, here's Andrew Wiggins, here's something else, Ben Simmons to the Warriors, and would that even be something the Warriors would want? And I think that's stupid as it just left my mouth.
Wiggins, number 2, the Timberwolves pick next year, and a future pick. Yeah, so that'd be 3 picks and Andrew Wiggins for Ben Simmons. I would consider that as the Sixers, yes. It doesn't make them better today, but it does give them an opportunity to reset the clock a little bit. Yes, you still have massive contracts, but at the end of the day, it's not the worst problem to have, because Andrew Wiggins is a guy who is, even though he's been shuffled onto now 3 teams, assuming this trade would go through. Yeah. He's not bad at basketball. He's just not the, he's not the, oh God, what was his fucking name? He's not Maple Jordan, you know? He's not legendary. He's never gotten to that point in his career where he's built up. He just is who he is. He's been that same guy. He's the most naturally gifted kid who came out of high school who just seemed to stop trying. Except when he
just one day it was like, nope, not trying no more.
It's just until he faces OKC, and then he dumpsters OKC, and then he goes back to chilling. I don't know what they've done to him or his family, but like he goes full Taken mode on them. It's disgusting. I think that I actually, if you give me this year's 2, the Timberwolves pick next year, and a future pick, I'd take Wiggins for Ben Simmons.
Okay,
because I like the prospect of next year's pick from the Timberwolves being a top 10 pick.
The Warriors, I think, need to move on from Wiggins this offseason. Like,
I don't think it's a need to.
Okay, I'm going to say need. I'm going to take back the need to, because right when I said it, I was like, well, they still are a good team. They have Steph and Clay. Wiggins will work on that team.
Yes, they have Steph, Clay, and Dre. Wiggins is a perfect fit on that team. He does nothing wrong on that team. He doesn't have the shot quantity to make him a negative out on the court. Like, you have somebody who can ball handle, who can slash well, who can create mismatches, and who, if they can kick his ass enough times, will play defense. Yeah.
But, like, that's the reason why, like, I look at Ben Simmons and I go, hey, if they can able to pull that off, bring Ben Simmons, I'm fucking like Klay Thompson, Steph, and fucking Dre, all of them, Kerr and the players, they will be enough to bring fucking
NBA level. Like,
Ben
what
Simmons
do you do?
Yeah, get shit on, kids. Get shit on. Season's over.
We thought that
they might not lose a regular season game.
We thought they would lose regular season.
Yeah, they'd rest people at the end.
Because obviously, but we thought Kawhi Leonard and Paul George would be a defensive shutdown with Pat Bev.
Yeah.
The problem was we never saw that whole team together for the whole season, so we didn't get that narrative. It never played out in front of us. It was like, well, we got sprinkled here, a couple games there, over there, maybe. And it was just like, yes, when the three guys are out there together, they do form a very good defensive front, but it was just, it didn't happen enough to actually make sense to everybody else. If you put Klay Thompson next to Ben Simmons, next to Draymond Green, I know Draymond's lost a couple steps, but how the fuck do you deal with that as an opposing team? Yeah. You're looking at a 6'11" guy who has an incredible wingspan, who can guard 1 through 5. You got Klay Thompson, who is one of the best 2-3 guards in the NBA. And then defensively. And then you got fucking Draymond Green, who is a dirty sumbitch down there in the low post kicking balls.
Hey man, he's what they call in hockey. He's got a little goonish behavior in him.
He's a goon.
He's a little bit of a goon, but
Great bad movie. Great bad movie.
Great bad movie. Any final thoughts on this before we move on into some Wet Boys?
I think Thursday Night Football.
Yeah, let us know what you guys think down below. Dave, for Wet Boys, it's going to be very simplistic today. For those of you who don't know, there's no Wet Boy from Dave because football and basketball are Dave's jams. There was no patron. Okay, I forget you give the E-Boys. We'll give. I'm never gonna stop saying it. So I
will get them out.
Okay. There's also a football game today, so
they start at 2 in the morning. Okay. So I'm not watching that shit. But by 5 o'clock at night, I've watched all the recaps. Yeah. And half the games.
Yeah. For the patrons, there was no patron, so one Wet Boy day today, Dave.
You're a special person.
I don't remember if I preloaded it, so this is going to be a surprise to both of us. Yeah, Cody Bellinger. Fuck yeah. And the reason why is you may look at those stats and go, Ricky had 1 hit and it was a home run.
Yep.
But what he did defensively, Dave, was top of the 7th. They're up by 1. Fernando Tatis, who has a few Wet Boys himself,
former White Sox draft pick,
hits one to center. Bellinger missteps, has to turn. He's looking ball, wall, jumps in the mitt, robbed the home run. Home run, would have put the Padres up. They go on, the Dodgers go on to win 2-0, looking to close out the series tonight.
They're still the best team in baseball, aren't they?
Pretty much in the NL. I cannot wait for, if they win tonight, I can't wait for that NLCS because the Braves look abysmal against the Reds. Then one thing happened. I think the Marlins plunked Acuna or something. And since then, the Braves were like, oh, we can hit the damn ball. They won 5-0 today. They're already in the NLCS. So if the Dodgers win tonight, it'll be Dodgers-Braves in the NLCS, which I think people might have to correct me if I'm wrong. Fact check me in the comments if I'm wrong. The thing that's interesting is the Dodgers are wearing their home unis for the series. And it's at a neutral site, but I think the NL neutral site is Petco Park. So technically it's home games for the Padres. There's no fans, but it's technically the home stadium of
it's an advantage defensively for sure. Worst case scenario, you know the speed of the ball. You know the measurements.
Yep. You know how the wind, the thing with Wrigley they always talk about is the Cub players know how, you're always looking at the flags. Is it blowing in? Is the wind blowing out? What's going on? But Dave, we've got a Thursday night football game today. Your team, the Bears. My thing didn't load it. So I'm going to go ahead and put it up. Dave, do the Bears have a shot tonight against Tom Brady and the Bucs?
Absolutely. We absolutely have a shot against the Bucs tonight. I'm one of those people who are look, we're a fucking mystery box right now. We could be anything. We're 3-1 on the record
mystery box right now.
We could be great. We could be terrible. We don't know. Our defense has the bend but don't break mentality right now. We're timely good. Actually, we're actually incredible. I don't know if you noticed this, but we're top 3.
We're incredible. We're super good.
So good. So good at the footballs.
We're the best team in the league. Best team. Undefeated. But go on. I'm done with the Trump. You can go.
No, it's so easy. I lose my train of thought whenever you go into Trump mode, man. Thank you, Retro. I'm glad that you enjoy the layout underneath.
Yeah, I just usually I do them and then I forget to do it for the first topic. So the entire first topic is just like fucking, oh shit. I mean, that was supposed to be down there. Exactly. This one's going to be interesting though, because in one of my fantasy leagues, Dave, I have the Bears defense, and I'm almost like, do I sit the Bears defense because of how many points Tom Brady may score?
Well, here's the thing. Tom Brady put up 5 touchdowns last week.
Yeah.
Really, you got an angry Tom Brady last week. It felt like it was the old dog versus the young gun. You know, him and Air Bear going shot for shot down the field. I love that fucking nickname. I'm so in love with that
Air
nickname. By the way, named official starter.
Yep, named the official starter.
Unfortunately, Tyrod never getting his job back.
It's now Justin Air Bear.
So if you need to get, who needs a new quarterback? Because they can get Tyrod, and then their new quarterback will be right behind him, and he'll be good to go.
I'm trying to think.
I mean, the Bears obviously, but like outside of that,
the Bears got Big Dick Nick. He's got a couple games to wake up.
We'll see. That's the thing. He's had a week of practice now. He has no excuses.
Short week of practice though.
What's up?
Short week of practice.
Short week. You're right. Only 2 days of practice officially. That's the problem. Like, I don't know what to expect from our offense. They look like dog shit last week. Like, honestly, truthfully, it hurt me to watch them at times. And it's just, there's something about the hurry up offense. It works with them. Like, I feel like we play our best in a panic. Like, we need up tempo panic offense. Yeah. And he can toss it out there just fine. But it's the play calling that really bugs me when we're going at a slower, like methodical pace up the field. Like, it just feels like we have no momentum and he doesn't get in sync. But when we are in up tempo, 2-minute offense, whatever you want to call it, like,
I think they did that a lot with the Eagles. I think they did that a lot with the Eagles. Like, kind of more 2-minute to get Nick Foles into a rhythm because he likes it. Like, that's what it is. Like, look at the Super Bowl against Tom Brady. Hi, that's who's playing tonight. Towards like when they were down in that game, it was almost like they had to go into 2-minute because they were playing against the clock. And like at that point, it was like, oh shit, like he's looking pretty good right now. And then Sean had a bad second half, and then Sean cried after the game. Sorry, Sean, you cried.
It's still like nothing beats Sean. First half,
cocky as hell. Cocky as hell at halftime, man.
Dude, that Falcons game. I've never seen Sean go from like
defeated.
You just saw his face go from like concern, but not giving up hope. He's like, we're gonna do this. Halftime. I remember he did the video at halftime.
The Snapchat, yeah.
And then as soon as the first score happened for Brady, it was like, oh, it's over. He's like, oh, it's on. Like just going crazy in my house. Like that was such a good time. But he's a momentum kind of guy. So Nick Foles, I'm not done on him yet. I want to give him a couple more weeks before I totally quit on football entirely.
You got a pick and a score? The line for tonight is a Bucks by 3.5.
Yeah. So Bears get the points. I think that is probably about right. My worst picks are always the Bears, so I'm gonna stick with the Bears here. Play the homer card and say I can't pick against. Like literally, if you're a betting person, don't bet this game.
Yeah,
I don't know what the Bears are. We could come out and be dominant against this Tampa Bay offense because they have banged up players. You know, they may be dressed, but that doesn't mean they're going to be healthy out there. And if we can get after Tom Brady, then we could do some damage. And Akeem Hicks, Khalil Mack. I think Khalil Mack is number 4 in QB pressures this year.
Yeah.
So that bodes well for us. And our secondary, honestly, putting up a good fucking fight. Fuller on one side and our draft pick, who I'm blanking on. Why am I blanking on? Johnson? Williams? What's his fucking last name?
What position you think?
Corner.
Ooh, I would have to look it up. I got you. I'll look it up.
I remember he had first-round talent. He was hurt. We took him because he fell.
I'm looking it up, Dave. I'm looking at your depth chart. So you're going with the Bucks, though? You said
the Bears.
Okay. I thought when you said Bears and the points. I thought it was
the Bears are the underdogs, so I take the dog and the point.
Yeah, I thought it was a situation of like the Bucks will win, but it'll be under 3.5. So it'll be like they win by a field goal. Like that's what I thought you were saying. No, I didn't want the Buccaneers. I want the Bears. The Bears draft depth chart. Your cornerbacks are, come on, fucking dumb thing. Tablet don't want to work for me, Dave. It is Jalen Johnson.
Yeah, Jalen Johnson.
Yeah, that's the rookie.
Yeah, he's had some incredible plays. Already start the year like he is playing up huge for us. So no complaints here.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Bucks 28-23. I almost said 34-23, but you're right. Your defense is good. 28-23. Yeah. Brady gets 2 scores, one to Scotty Miller, one to Mike Evans, although I'd like both of them to go to Evans. And then Fournette gets in the end zone twice.
I don't think Fournette's going to be touching the end zone.
You don't think so? Not even like from
really good. I think Jones down? I'm not playing him.
Oh, okay. So you're going with Ronald Jones over a Fournette?
Feels like that's where the momentum's going.
Yep. Dave, let's end the show with a little fun thing. We're a quarter through the football season. 4 games are in the books.
More than a quarter through if the NFL keeps getting coronavirus.
Yeah, good point. The Titans Bills, we're not talking about it, but they're pushed to Tuesday because of COVID. So they're going to be playing on Tuesday. That's a little weird. Depending on the Titans' COVID test, if they have more, then they ain't playing on Tuesday.
They should forfeit.
But so NFL.com came out with an article where they were looking at contenders and pretenders. And I was looking at their list and I was like, you know what? A lot of this is pretty simple. Like, and they only had one pretender. So like for me, I took it and I said, let's take the teams that are at the top of the divisions. There's a lot of good teams right now. Let's kind of go through and kind of get through the weeds, Dave, of who is going to be a contender at the end of the year, who's going to be a pretender. And we'll start, because we're just coming off them, we'll start with that Bears team. They are 4-0, could be 5-0 with a win tonight.
No, we're 3-1.
Oh, 3-1. That's right. You lost to the Colts. You're no longer a lossless team. Fuck.
Right, Mitch Trubisky's undefeated.
Yeah, Mitch is undefeated. So after tonight, you could be 4-1.
Could be.
Packers are just ahead of you in the division. Are the Bears a contender at the end of the year, Dave, or are they a pretender?
We're a mystery box, bitch.
Dave's like, I already said it, bitch.
I ain't answering this one. I'm going TBD on the Bears. You can't tell me one way or the other. Our defense is a contender. Our offense is an enigma. I can't. There's nothing. I can't answer that.
So I'm gonna say this. I agree with you with the mystery box, but I'm gonna say too early to tell. Lean pretender, and the only way I lean pretender is because there's so many question marks with this team.
Oh, there's one.
Well, there's just one. There's Nick Foles. There's will this team? To me, it's like, will Nick Foles be able to get it going, and the team still stay like the rest of the team still stay like good around him, or will other parts fall off?
We just need to start Mitch every game and then pull him for Nick Foles every game. Like
the Rex Grossman treatment.
Quarterback second half.
Didn't you guys do that with Rex Grossman for a while? You started him and then you pulled him, and then it's like he played better when he got fucking pulled. That was when you guys had Kyle Orton, I believe. What about the divisional foe? Our divisional foe, because I'm a Vikings fan, Dave.
Yeah, you're not really anywhere close to the top.
No, I was talking about the Packers, though. Yeah. Our divisional foe they're a contender. They've got there are one of 2 people that are winning the MVP this year. Sorry, Josh Allen. It's either Russell Wilson or the man in Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers. I wouldn't be surprised if Aaron Rodgers wins the Packers to a Super Bowl. So I'm going to say contender.
100%. You know the only thing that would make that sweeter?
What?
And when he demands a trade the day after the Super Bowl victory.
Jordan Love's your guy. Get me out of here.
Yeah, thought you guys liked Jordan Love. Mm-hmm. Just go fuck off with him.
Yeah.
Like I rewatched the draft night video from Pat McAfee and the impressions from his boy doing
Mel Kiper guy.
Mel Kiper and the who was Lou Holtz.
When he was like, I can't do it, man. I can't do it for this one.
Dude, he did Mel Kiper and Lou Holtz impersonations, and then just Mel Kiper talking shit about Gunther Kuntz was great. It's one of my favorite videos of all time. Gonna rewatch it again probably.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, no, the Packers are absolutely contenders. Aaron Rodgers can carry. You could line up out there at tight end, and they'd have a shot.
I mean, I might get a couple tutties. I might set a record out there with Aaron.
Easy.
Yeah, little tutties out there. And just imagine. Just imagine when they get fucking Adams back, when the doctors actually let him play. Like, team's just going to get better. Let's go to the AFC. We'll do North, South, East, and then West.
Yeah.
The Steelers. They're undefeated right now. Big Ben playing well. This is a team that many had questions about coming into this one because, of course, like the Ravens were going to be good. The Steelers, it was like of course, can Connor rebuild on last year's? Big Ben coming back healthy, a new Big Ben this year. This is a Steelers team that I think, even if they don't win the division, I put them as a slight contender to maybe, if they get hot at the right time, could make a run in the playoffs and at the least get to maybe the second round or even to the AFC Champ game.
No, they're absolutely contenders. I mean, there is zero chance the Steelers team is pretenders. Their defense is so damn good. Big Ben looks great out there.
Yeah.
They've got enough offensive weapons behind Juju to be dangerous any point on the field. Like, this team is just a bunch of grown-ass professionals, and I love this rejuvenated Big Ben. So, yeah, love the Steelers. Think they're a low-key team that people just don't respect right now, and they got fucked by the whole COVID situation. They didn't even fuck up.
Yeah, they got their game moved. They got their bye earlier. They got the Eagles this week. Should be an easy win for them. The other team, though, in their division, obviously the Ravens, I didn't have to put them on the list. We know where they are.
I don't know.
We know what the Ravens are.
Not practicing.
You're really going to call them a pretender, Dave?
They did lose to the best team in the NFL.
I mean, yeah, the best team in the
NFL. If RG3 is the quarterback...
The Browns, Dave, contender or pretender, because this is a team that I feel like they showed their true colors in the first two games, then now have gotten the benefit of playing Washington, who's been bad,
shit team.
Dallas, who's been bad. They're going to get a real injection of good opponents as they're playing Indy this week, and then Pittsburgh the next week.
Yeah, this is going to be tough for them. This will be the make or break 2-week run. You're absolutely right. Like this, we'll find out what the Browns are truly made of. I think they're pretenders. I don't trust Baker Mayfield. I really don't. I think that he's going to be the guy, the odd man out. Like Odell Beckham Jr. is a fucking superstar, and I'm glad that we got to showcase him again. Offensive creativity was just. You know what the Giants did this thing where they just got the ball in Odell Beckham's hand. I don't know where on the field. It doesn't matter. Just put the ball in his hands and then let him do Odell Beckham Jr. things.
Let him reach behind fucking two fingers.
Just go, you blink one, just one hand.
Just like two fingers on that ball.
Keep that man the ball and you'll win games. It's not a hard strategy. The fucking Giants figured it out right off the bat.
Yeah. Like,
it's just, I don't trust Baker. I mean, the injury to Chubb hurts. Kareem Hunt's still not standing back, but he's got a nagging injury too. So they've got, I want to say like Gibson or I'm awful with names. Their third string running back actually so decent runs and looks good though. So I think they've got a solid run game. They've got great wide receivers. I think Njoku's coming back too. So they're getting players back, but it's just, do you trust Baker Mayfield and do you trust that secondary?
Yeah, I don't. With me, I put them in the pretender pool. And the running back you're thinking of, Dave, is the two that I have down here are D'Ernest Johnson and Dontrell Hillard. Unless you're thinking of the fullback, which is Andy Janovic.
No, it's Johnson.
Okay. For me, pretenders, though. And like the only way this team makes the playoffs is they basically luck into the playoffs. And how I say that is, they do have winnable games. They play Jacksonville. They play the Eagles. They play there are games that it's like, wow, the Texans.
They're an 8-win team. I agree. I think they're an 8-win team.
Yeah, they're going to be pretenders. Walk into the playoffs at like the 7th seed if they do
think they just miss out.
You think so? I mean, hey, I could see it happening. What about Captain COVID of the NFL, Dave? The Titans. No, they might not even finish a season, right?
20 plus people now. Like no.
Mm-hmm. Like what? They have one game moved. This game moved. What?
Those draft picks and forfeit games.
Kind of like we talked about before, where the NFL talked about teams losing draft picks for this shit.
Yeah. No, I mean, the fact that it's coming out that their group workouts are still happening. Fuck them.
Like now, even.
Like literally days ago. Yes.
Oh shit! I thought the whole thing was that
there was a reporter who mentioned
fuck?
that there was guys gathered working out, and somebody else is like claiming like, hey man, that didn't look like us or something like that, and go, you're a weird guy, go mind yourself, like whatever kind of thing. So yeah, they should lose a third round draft pick for this shit.
The thing I will say, a little rant here, because if their season keeps going how it's been going, they're not going anywhere.
If they have 2 more positive tests, they should forfeit the game on Tuesday.
But I saw a comment on our video about the NFL, and it was basically along the lines of no, they shouldn't pause the season. MLB had more cases, and they finished out their season. This is just football fans basically crying to cancel a season so that they can say that they were right. And I looked at that comment and I went, tone deaf. That's just what that comment reads to me. Because it doesn't matter how many cases there are. If you're not doing, it's we've got to, I could understand a little bit of but we haven't had a case. Do I call you stupid? Yes. But hey, you haven't had a case. But when you have over 20 cases, and then you're well, let's just business as usual. We don't have to change what we're doing, obviously. Yeah,
we're sent out another stern email telling players to respect, each other's personal space and wear masks. And yeah.
What about the Colts though, Dave? They're a 3-1 team as well. They've been on a roll since that loss against Jacksonville. I'm going Contenders. They're waking up at the right time.
At the right time? You mean week 2?
Yeah, week 2. They're becoming the team that I thought they were going to be week 1. And they're just going to get better.
I was so high on this team.
Yep.
And after watching them just lose to Jacksonville and making fucking Gardner Minshew look like Joe goddamn Montana out there.
We're about Minshew maniacs.
I was like, did I seriously say this team is going to win double-digit games this year? What was I smoking that day? And no, their defense is as good as I remembered it would be. Their offense, it just took Phil Rivers a little bit of time. And even without their first-string running back, damn good offense. They're moving the ball.
Yep.
I mean, this team is an absolute contender.
Yeah, this is one where it's if the Titans keep going the way they're going, this could be easy division. And if they keep getting hot and keep getting better, this could be a team that makes a playoff run. Phillip Rivers might even get a first Super Bowl, but I don't know.
I wouldn't go that far.
I think I don't think so. And I think I picked them to win the Super Bowl in our predictions. Dave, we talked about them in the Thursday night game. This one's easy for me. Obviously, they're a contender. They have the GOAT. When they're healthy, they've got 2 of the best wide receivers in football. They've got 2 running backs now, Fournette and Ronald Jones, to where it's pick your poison. Which one wants to fucking play good today? To where, yes, the Bucs are contenders. Yes.
Yeah, Tampa Bay Gronkaneers definitely contenders.
Yeah,
what was
even without O.J. Howard?
What was that?
Even without O.J. Howard, they're contenders.
He's done for the year. I told you he was done.
Said Achilles.
I was going to ask, what was the 2 running backs they had in Carolina that had the nicknames?
It was Jonathan Stewart and D'Angelo Williams.
Yeah, what were their nicknames?
Flash and Lightning, maybe? Flash and Lightning, but I'll look it up.
Flash and Lightning are the same thing. Lightning makes flashes.
Thunder and Lightning.
Lightning and Thunder?
Maybe. I'll look it up. I got you.
It's what it feels like for Rojo and Fournette right now. You got your big boy who just chews up the middle of that line, softens him up, and then Rojo, who is a balanced, back there, who's got a little bit more speed in him and can take care of the ball out in the open.
Splash and Dash is what they call it.
Splash and Dash, yeah.
Splash and Dash. Then they were later known as Double Trouble, with the Panthers. Dude, that's a blast from the past, man. John,
yeah.
The fantasy, it sucked having either of them because it was like, who's going to get the touchdowns that game? You just avoided them at all costs.
Like the tandem running backs. Like I like what the Browns had with Hunt and Chubb. And I like what the Bucks did with Rojo and Fournette. Like for their team, not for fantasy. Fantasy, you're right. 100% sucks.
The next two, Dave, from the South, we'll package them together because I think one is like the Bears. I feel like it's too early to tell because of what we've seen, but I want to lean contender, and that's the Saints, to where it's like I say too early to tell because Thomas is injured. Drew Brees hasn't been looking like he is, but like when they're on, they're a contender. That's why it's a little bit of a lean, but could swipe and go boom into pretender. The Panthers to me are the surprise to where I literally don't fucking know because I want, like, my gut wants to say what I thought at the beginning of the season, pretender. Like this is just a good 2-2 stretch. But then there's a part of me of like, is this just Teddy Bridgewater basically telling us to, hey, go fuck yourselves? Like read between the lines, people. You doubted me. You shouldn't be doubting me.
Pretender. I think I overrated what the Arizona Cardinals were. I'm not reading too much into that game.
Okay.
I think that the Panthers are a bad team, and I think the Cardinals have the ability to play down because they're not as good as I thought they would be.
What about the Saints?
Saints, I got no problem with the Saints. They're absolutely contenders. Drew Brees, everybody talked about his decline. The dude just completes short passes.
Well, it's ravine season, Dave.
History of the NFL has ever completed a short pass.
Yeah, it's ravine season.
He's eliminated the run game, and they're more successful for it. Like he's done things. He owns goddamn half the record book for quarterbacks. He's erased Brett Favre from the fucking books. He's working on Peyton Manning shit. Like he's just one of the most prolific passers in NFL history. Go down as all time, maybe a top 5 quarterback. Like no, their offense is good. Their defense is good. They'll be fine. You just need some time to keep it rolling, you know?
AFC East, Dave, the Bills. And this is one where
no doubter.
Like, here's the thing. They're undefeated. They're having a good season. They're going to win the division. Just calling it out there. Here's the interesting thing, though. In articles about the MVP after the quarter point of the season, there are a lot of people going, Russell Wilson 1, Aaron Rodgers 2, Josh Allen at 3. Could this be a team that not only makes the playoffs, gets a number 1 seed, and does Josh Allen shock the world and win the MVP this year?
I think there's a good chance that he can. I really do. Like, he has played at a different level.
But he's not. Russell Wilson, MVP.
Russell Wilson was my call. Day 1, day 0. It was before the season started.
Dave did one of these. He called his shot.
Russell Wilson will be the MVP of the NFL season. Josh Allen absolutely has a good shot, though. Like, he does it with his legs. He does it with his arm. He's got a new best friend in Stephon Diggs, who's changed the dynamic of that offense. I can't give you enough praise for just giving up that talented wide receiver. You're number 1 wide receiver over to them for literally trash.
The Bills Twitter team had a tweet to where they're like, what's going on Twitter, it's the 2 pictures. It's like how it started, how it ended, or how it started, how it's going. And the Bills put one up, how it started, a picture of a text screen that said Minnesota, and it said, hey, you up? And then the next one was just fucking Stephon Diggs catching a touchdown for the Bills. And it's like, how's it going?
We talked about how terrible the Nuke trade was. I think this might be equally bad.
Really? Like, this is just one to where it's like, I feel like the move had to be done. He wasn't happy here, to where it's like, I'm happy he's having success in Buffalo. Because I like Nuke Stephon
wasn't
Diggs.
happy in Houston.
What?
Nuke wasn't happy in Houston.
Yeah,
but
like, I mean,
I want to negotiate my own contract. This jackass in front of me won't fucking talk to me seriously. He's calling shit plays. We're losing games because of his incompetence. And
but I think the Vikings
and the coach got fired.
The Vikings' problems are not all on Stephon. Like, if Stephon Diggs was here, it'd be easier. But it's not all on Stephon Diggs not being here. It's A, Kirk Cousins playing like shit. B, the defense not being what it was last year.
Suddenly starts playing like shit.
Yeah.
Is it because the receiver who caught like 1,500 fucking yards and 8 touchdowns last year isn't there?
I would say the only reason I'm saying no.
I would say the offense has
the only reason I'm saying The only reason I'm saying no is because the main reason why Stephon Diggs was not happy with Minnesota was that there was the whole controversy of like, why is the ball not finding my hands?
Right.
Because Kirk Cousins was going to Thielen more. That's why it's like I'm not really mad at the deal. To where it's like whatever. It is what it is. Dave, the other COVID teams on here, and I say the other COVID team only because they've had cases. It's not as bad as the Titans. But the Patriots. Yep. The reason why I don't know if I can give a decision for this, because with Cam Newton, yes. If Cam Newton misses a lengthy amount of games, though, because of the COVID, then, yeah, they might be pretenders if they don't have COVID, or they don't have Cam Newton out there. Yeah. I almost said if they don't have COVID out there.
I think Gilmore hurts just as bad. He was literally like the number 3 corner in football this year.
Because they already had so many people saying, nah, fuck that, I ain't getting COVID.
He's so good for that defense. He's an elite level talent, and losing basically your best player on offense and your best player on defense. They're pretenders. I'll go out on a limb here and say I'll just say they're pretenders. I don't think this Patriots team makes the playoffs. Okay. I predicted them to be less than stellar this year, but I can't say enough good about what Bill Belichick has done in transitioning from Tom Brady to the next level. It's just you went on from the GOAT to somehow still preparing, still getting ready for these games, still shooting out with some top teams in the league. So yeah, good to you.
It's kind of like if Robert Kraft didn't make you trade a quarterback, you wouldn't have had Cam Newton's great, but wouldn't have made you go ahead and sign Cam Newton. You would have already had him on this team. Dave, we got 4 left, 1 from the AFC East. Yet again, leaving the Chiefs off because we all know the answer. Yes, they're contenders. What about the Raiders, though? 2-2 right now? Like, they've played some good games. The 2 losses, obviously, were not so good games to where it's like, this is a team to where I wonder if during this season, can they get enough of it together to get the 7th seed, to get the 6th seed, to kind of squeak in to the playoffs?
No.
No.
Just because you beat the Saints does not mean you are a contender. Like, I will give them credit. They look decent. I thought they would be a middle of the pack kind of team, and that's where they're at right now. That's where they're going to finish out the season. No real big shocker on this team to me. I mean, we all, I think a lot of fantasy players knew about Waller. We knew what he could be after what he had started to show last season. So excited that he's going to continue. They just have a lot of young pieces they need to keep developing and keep working on. But they're not ready to be in the playoffs yet. They're not a good enough team to contend in the playoffs. Again, any week is winnable for any team. As bad as the Jets are, they're going to win a game this year.
And that's why this is one to where it's like, for me, this is the push. This is a wait and see, because the next 3 weeks will answer this question. I'm gonna agree. I'm gonna agree with you. I'll lean towards pretender if I have to pick between the two, because I won't dodge the question. But they're like next 3 games this week against the Chiefs. Then they play the Buccaneers. Then they play the Cleveland Browns, where the Cleveland Browns, we'll even see what they are in 2 weeks, because we said their next 2 games is tough. And then
gatekeepers.
Yep. And then Dave, the NFC West. Seahawks, I think this answer is easy for both of us. Yes.
Again.
Yes. They have the MVP.
Seahawks are the best team in football outside of the Chiefs.
The other 2, though, question marks. Rams at 3-1, Cardinals at 2-2. I know you were high on the Cardinals, Dave. I'm going to go ahead and say the Rams are contenders. They're showing already that they might not be to the exact level they were when they went to the Super Bowl, but they've got that swag back. Aaron Donald looks like a beast out there week after week after week. The Cardinals, I'm going to say, they're good. They might be contenders next year, but this year, a little bit too soon. Just leans into the pretender category for the Cardinals.
I agree with you on both ends. I didn't like the Rams to start the year. I still don't like the Rams. But
Dave's like, F the Rams, don't like the Rams, never like the Rams.
They are to win some game, which pisses me off.
What is there a reason for the hatred of the Rams? Or is it just like an unconditional, like sometimes you just get it where it's like, fuck that team.
No discernible reason. Like you said, I love Aaron Donald, love a little Cooper Kupp. I think that I think they're trio quadruple of running backs in the backfield. Cam Akers supposed to be back again now. So they just seem to make it happen. Like, no matter what comes their way, they're just like, we'll just roll with the punches. Roll with the punches. I'm surprised I didn't see the 49ers on this list.
I mean, we could answer it. Like, I didn't put them because for me, it's like with the injuries.
They're going to sneak in. That's why that's my big
See,
question.
I don't think they're going to. Like, I would almost put them as pretenders because of the injuries to where it's like they're.
Debo's back. Kittle's back. Garoppolo will be back. Yes, their defense is worse off, but I think they're low key, not low key. I think they're one of those teams that will sneak in on the back half.
Okay, yeah. For me,
they're talented. That Oster, how many more weeks is he out for?
Who? Oster could be back this week.
So there you go. Like they literally all those injuries to like key skill positions are going to be back. They're out a couple of more guys. I understand their defense. Their offensive line, they've got some holes, but like
here's
injury.
Here's the only reason why I'm questioning it is because the 4 division winners get in. So I'm thinking that's Packers, Seahawks, Buccaneers, and Eagles. I'll just throw out the Eagles. There's one team from the East is getting in, not more than that. So then after that, you have 3 spots available. Well, the Saints ain't missing out.
Maybe.
To me, then it's down to 2 where it's like, yes, they have a shot at one of those 2 spots, but to me it comes down to the Bears might get one of them, and then after that it depends on the Cardinals and the Cardinals and Panthers. Where you're right, they may slip in at 6 or 7.
Yeah, I believe in the 49ers more than the Cardinals and Panthers together.
Yeah,
100%.
You changed my mind, Dave.
Bears aren't guaranteed. As a Bears homer, there's no guarantee that this team wins, 9 games this season. I'd like to believe that we have the talent to win, 10, 11 games, but it's just what are we going to actually show up on game day with the quarterback? Dave
talks so much like this about the Bears. Watch, they go out there tonight, light it up.
I'm literally like waiting. I'm jamming the button. All right, come on.
Dave's like, I need it to load. But that is going to do it for MVP Sports Live today. Thank you guys for checking out the show. Remember, Discord, link down below, or ! Discord into the Twitch chat to join that channel. It's a great channel to talk to everyone from the MVP family. If you want to support us, patreon.com/MVPvids. Thank you to our Patreon sponsors, Pat Hale and Philly Sean. You can also throw us a sub on Twitch, where we're live every Monday through Friday, twitch.tv/MVPvids. And then you can also sub to us on YouTube at MVP Sports. Keep up to everything, especially stuff that's not on Twitch as well. Want to thank you guys yet again for checking out the show. Dave and I will be back for Football Friday, fantasy football, and previewing all the week's games coming up for Week 5. Thank you guys yet again, and as always, have a good day, everybody.